Hi, everybody. I'm going to give you the stupid intro. I hope all is well, but it's not well because I'm tired So I am restarting this live from the beginning, and I'm going to make it fast because I have an attitude. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining. So let's get into these questions. Is it appropriate to go to the club in the beginning of connecting? Is it appropriate to go to the club in the beginning of connecting? Okay, so as I was saying before, whoever wants to go out, wherever they want to go. Yeah, I put it on Do Not Disturb. Thank you, Marlon Slack, who joined our live stream, is the reason why it went dead in the first place. Usually what happens if you don't put on D&D and someone calls you, it freezes for a second and it goes back on. This is something new where it freezes and yeah. Hi, my husband and I are still waiting for your call, please. I don't know if you're talking about me because, first of all, the calls that I do is through Zoom and you schedule them. So there's no way that you're waiting on a call for me. Did you book a session? If you booked a session, then whatever the time is on that session, that's where we would meet via Zoom. So if you have more questions, you can DM me to Tiab Mason. Okay, so is it appropriate to go to the club in the beginning of connecting? What would I say? I would say you can go wherever the hell you want to go. You can do whatever the hell you want to do. It's all about, are both parties interested in that activity? For me, I'm not going to the club while I'm dating somebody because I'm not going to the club when I'm not dating somebody. I just don't like the club, right? I like Topgolf. I like bowling. I like food. I like television. Television may not be an appropriate first, second, third, fourth, fifth date, but that's what I like. So really, it's all about what both parties want to do. I don't think there's anything that's appropriate or inappropriate once both are consenting adults and they decide to do whatever the heck they want to. All right? So is it appropriate to go to the club in the beginning of connecting? I assume connecting meaning dating. Sure. Once both parties want to go. And once you don't try to talk to nobody else when you're at the club, y'all. Come on. Don't be classless. All right? Next one. Is it a good idea to date several people at the same time? Is it a good idea to date several people at the same time? Yes. 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 Dating is gathering information. Dating is gathering information. Okay. Rentals. All right. So you're talking about something different. All right. Please contact me on that page, or you can DM me on this page, but this wouldn't be the place to talk about it right now. Okay. So, is it a good idea to date several people at the same time? Yes, you should. Malika says y'all should know that by now. Dating is discovery. They might be new. Malik. Don't do that. Don't do that. You are gathering information. I'm not going to gather information from a single source. Especially when gathering this information may be the make or break of the decision that I make in the future for the rest of my life, of who I'm going to be sleeping next to for the rest of my life, who I'm going to be investing in for the rest of my life, who I'm going to be having babies with for the rest of my life. So you best believe I'm going to gather all of the data that's necessary before I make a decision. And I know that might sound calculating, and I know that it might sound like unromantic. Well, guess what? Sometimes life is calculating and it better be. And sometimes life is not romantic. Okay. D-Base says it's not a good idea. You can't focus. It'll be all over the place. Focus on what? I'm going out and having some fun and having conversations. If you're a drinker, you're having some cocktails. Maybe you're walking along the promenade in Brooklyn, right? So what do I need to focus on? Now, if this was a situation where I have a degree, right? Like I'm getting a degree. I'm not going to get 3 degrees at the same time because that level of dedication requires focus. But having a conversation on the phone every other day and going out on a Friday night to a restaurant or to a movie or to the museum or to whatever, right? Like what focus do I need in order to have a conversation? Now, we're not talking about sleeping with all these people. And obviously we're not committed to any of them. But you should be gathering data and gathering information and seeing what you like and seeing what you don't like. And in reality, people are doing it and they're just not telling the other person. So let's avoid the lies and the deceit and let's be forthcoming about the fact that I'm seeing you and I'm seeing some others, and I encourage you to do the same. so that you can come up with an informed decision on who you think is best for you moving forward. Why would I put all my eggs in one basket and I haven't even gone through the process of seeing if you're an appropriate match for me? That's just unreasonable. Like, forget about spending monies, forget about spending time. It is unreasonable for someone to put all their eggs in one basket, to invest in something or someone without having any information about that thing or that one. I'm sure you wouldn't advise me to take all of my savings and invest it in one stock without doing any research. That'd be a foolish decision, right? Why would I take all of my money and invest it in one stock without doing any research on that stock? No, I'm going to spread the wealth. I'm going to buy a couple stocks here after doing my research. I'm going to do a couple stocks here after doing some research. I'm going to do a couple stocks here after doing some research. And then when one stock's not performing well, I'm going to sell expeditiously, and I'm going to take that money and I'm going to reinvest it in the stocks that do make sense until I've decided on what my portfolio is going to look like, and then I can focus on that. That just seems to be the most reasonable and logical thing to do. Okay? How can you take anyone serious if you're going out with 4 different people? You take them seriously by dating people and then realizing that someone isn't an appropriate match and someone is. Then you drop the one who's an inappropriate match and you invest in the one that is. But to, again, invest all in one when you haven't even done the market research to see if that one makes sense, to me is illogical and foolish. You can date with intention. I intend to get to know you to see if you're an appropriate match for me so that I can decide, we can decide, because it's not one-sided, whether or not we want to do this together on a permanent basis. But I'm not going to date one person by dating, not committed. I'm not going to date one person at a time and then 7 months later. And it's also, side note, very easy for a man to say that when he has no biological clock, when the value of a man increases over time, right? And it doesn't necessarily increase for women over time, right? It's very easy to say, oh, date one at a time. Yeah, nah, that's not what I advise. And my advice works. All right. Check the testimonials. So, is it a good idea to date several people at one time? Yes. Several could be 2, several could be 4. Now, of course, you have a life, right? You should be able to function in your life. Your whole life shouldn't be all dating. But yes, more than one person. Absolutely. Gather the data. If a guy says he thinks he's not my type, is that a sign for me to leave him alone? If a guy says he thinks he's not my type, is that a sign for me to leave him alone? Yes. Next question. Is it okay to share Google Voice numbers with a potential suitor? Sorry to be so dismissive, but yes. 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 Is it okay to share Google Voice numbers with a potential suitor? Okay, so this is my feeling around Google Voice numbers. Everybody knows when it's a Google Voice number. It's the same lady's voice that comes on, say your name after the tone. I think that is problematic because you're making it very clear to this person that you are, not really interested in them, potentially afraid of them. And as a woman, I can understand why you'd be afraid, right? If you check the news recently, it's outrageous out here for us. But I think you're making it abundantly clear that I don't trust you and I'm very afraid. So I'm not a fan of using Google Voice numbers because it is so apparent when someone uses Google Voice numbers, right? If you want to use some other type of number, if you want to shield your number for whatever reason, which I still don't really understand because all you have to do is block them if you don't want to talk to them anymore. But if you are really passionate about shielding your number, fine. Just please choose a service that is not obviously, hey, I don't trust you. I'm afraid of you. I think you're going to stalk me. So I'm going to block my number and here's some BS number for you to contact me on. I say share the number. If they're outrageous, block them. However, if you're really passionate about shielding your number, okay. But please don't choose Google Voice. because Google Voice is screaming, I don't trust you. Google Voice is screaming, I'm afraid. Google Voice is screaming that you are a weirdo, or I think that you are. We don't want to make that apparent. Okay, I see some people say they've done the Google number at first and then moved on to a real number. I use the Google Voice until they get an upgrade, and then I let them know. There's free number, there's text now. I don't know if text now allows for phone calls, Latoya, but let us know. I'm not familiar, but I'm not crazy about Google Voice only because it's so apparent that it's Google Voice. Excuse me, guys. All right, so let's move on. What's more important for women? A guy's looks or his wallet? Which would you prefer, ladies? So this is for y'all. So I want y'all to answer that. Put it in the comments. What's more important for women? A guy's looks or his wallet? Don't say personality. That's not the choices. There's two choices here, ladies. There's two choices. He says the two choices are the guy's looks or the guy's wallet. Which would you prefer? So, I'm going to talk about me. Looks fade. Money can fade. But looks guaranteed are going to fade. Like guaranteed. I am not going to be this outstanding in 20 years. I'm not going to be this outstanding in 20 years. So, if I had to choose between the two, I would choose the wallet because I believe that this person is probably more inclined to be able to, and I assume a fat wallet, right? Like not just a wallet. I'm assuming this person might be more inclined to invest that money. I can guide them in ways that we can triple it, that we can build generational wealth, that we can live a level of comfort, that our children don't have to worry about how they're going to pay their tuition. So if I had to choose, I choose the wallet. I choose the wallet. Now, I'm also not going to sleep with an, ogre. Right? I'm not doing that. I don't care how fat the wallet is. If you are a monster or you are significantly unattractive to me, then the wallet is not going to move me, right? But looks waver. Now, I do see a gentleman who said shaking my head, and I'd like some more context on that, seeing that generally speaking, in my opinion, men usually choose women over based on their looks, and looks are just as shallow, if not more shallow, in my opinion, than a wallet. So Todd, I don't know if you're joining this live late, and that's okay. My name is Alison. I am a certified dating and relationship coach. I primarily work with singles to help them find the love and commitment that they deserve. I'm going to read the question again because I made it very clear, and so did the question, that we could not make any other choices. We only had two choices. The question was, what's more important for women? A guy with looks or his wallet? Those were the only two choices. That is the question that was posed to me. That is what I'm answering, and that's what I'm posing to those who are in the audience. So, looks are quite shallow. It may be a bad question, Todd, but I didn't ask it. Okay? So, I'm asked a series of questions, and I choose to come on live and answer those questions. Some might be silly. Some might be serious. Some might get a yes or a no. Some might get 10 minutes worth of conversation. But nonetheless, that was the question I was asked. And as a service to my community, because I charge for this, I do this live every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern, okay? But we're not here to judge the questions, we're here to answer them. Regal Cordier 7 says, if a man doesn't want to feel used, he needs to interface with women to find him attractive. Yeah, so you can make an effort to find the women who think that you're cute. But based on the options that were given in the question, I'm answering it. Looks fade. Money can fade. Looks will fade. If I had to choose between the two, I would choose the money. Both of them are outrageously shallow. Both of them are dangerous. Neither one of them is something that I would use as a single deciding factor. However, I'm also not a fool. If someone asks me a question, I'm going to answer it. Okay? Women can lie and say wallet, But if you didn't know Jay-Z was rich, you wouldn't give him no play. But they not lying. By your description here, they absolutely will admit that the wallet is the thing. Absolutely. Jay-Z would not get Beyonce if it wasn't for his success. Absolutely. But that wouldn't be a lie. That's the truth. And I agree. And I'm sure if we ever asked Jay and he cared to tell us the truth, he would tell us the truth too. Okay? Just answering the questions as they are worded to me, as that is my promise to my community, that I offer this service every Wednesday when I could be laying in bed watching Netflix. When is the right time to talk about sexual health? When is the right time to talk about sexual health? Now, there was more to this, so I'm thinking about how to put this in context, right? So I'm just read the next line. When's the right time to talk about sexual health? When celibate and dating people seriously. So that was the next line. When you're celibate. When is the right time to talk about sexual health? So the first thing is, if we're talking about health, right? Like, I think that conversation can happen anytime. So that's what, right, I agree. Lave truly, right? As in a checkup, yes. I would say that I would talk about checkups and health. When would I do it? This is hard. When we're talking about people who are celibate, if the celibacy has already been established, right? So these are two people, they've made it clear that they are going to be celibate, and if that's an accepted practice between the both of them, then if you've already had a conversation about celibacy, then I don't think it would be too awkward now to talk about sex health, right? Like, if I've already made it clear that my intention is not to have sex until marriage, and you've agreed to this, right? This agreement, then we've already had the tough conversation. That ain't nothing to follow up with, well, the last time I got a checkup was this time. What about you? So I'm assuming that they've already had this conversation about celibacy. So then sex health is the easy stuff, right? And Latoya, I'm gonna break my own rules and I'm gonna answer your question right when I'm done with this. So if you've already had the celibacy talk, to talk about sex health is nothing. Sex health is, you learn about that in high school. It's not really that serious, right? Now, if you haven't had the celibacy conversation, then that takes precedence over talking about general checkups and STI history and all that kind of stuff. You need to figure out whether or not this person is going to participate in your celibate relationship. That's more important than talking about when's the last time you got a checkup, because they checkups don't mean anything if they're not even interested in pursuing you because you are not willing to have sex at some point before marriage, right? So now I'm going to answer Latoya's question in the comments, which was, when do you talk about celibacy? When do you talk about celibacy? So I have a few clients who are celibate, right? And I'm going to tell you exactly when I told them. I told them that needs to be a conversation that you have on the phone. So that means that you've exchanged numbers. You probably have been texting. And I would have that conversation probably as like the first phone call. I would have that conversation as a first phone call. I might not text it. It could be awkward, misconstrued, lost in translation. But when we get on that phone, I'm going to tell you. And the reason why is because there are going to be plenty of people who are not going to be a willing participant in that type of relationship. And that's their right. And that's their right. No one has to live a life that you lead or live, right? So I'm going to tell you early in the game because I need to know as a kind human being that I'm not wasting your time. And I don't want to disrespect your time. So I'm going to make my intentions very clear because I know that my intentions are a little different from the average person. So I'm going to tell you, if there's anything else that's really outstanding, you should be telling this to people early. If you have children, that should be first conversation via text. That should be on your dating profile. That should be early. ASAP, as Kim B says. Because again, I want to be sure that you and I are on the same page in regards to that particular standard that I have for myself. And if you are an unwilling participant, I'm not going to waste your time falling in love with me, right? Liking me a lot, because you're not going to fall in love. Liking me a lot. And then I was 3 months into the game and now you find out that I'm not willing to have sex until marriage. And then now you're pissed, and that person has a right to be pissed because you are not forthcoming. So again, going back to the question about when do you have a conversation about sex health when you are celibate, I would say that conversation is null and void until you have the celibacy conversation. If that person's willing to be down and they're celibate too, or they're willing to wait for you because they like you so much, cool. Then bringing up sex health, hey, the last time I got checked out was this time. What about you? Blah, blah, blah. Then that's the easy convo. The harder convo is the celibacy convo. That's bigger fish that we got to fry before anything else. Okay? Oh, yes, Chrissy did my hair, which she does all the time. Not this, though. This is messy. This ain't her. But she does. And she does a good job in Brooklyn. And I find a lot of men depend on their women's sex health as confirmation of their own health state. You are absolutely correct in my experience. And I'd love anybody else to say otherwise. They will jokingly say, this is men, oh, if you tested negative, so I must be negative. Oh, if you good, then I'm good too, right? Which is not the truth. It's not 100% of the truth, because you could have gotten, I'm not a medical doctor, forgive me guys, you could have gotten whatever, an STI before we even engaged in any activity, right? Or you could have been doing some cheating and could have contracted, that was the word, and could have contracted an STI anytime, right? But let's assume that you're a good man and you're not a cheater. It could have been laying dormant in your body. Do not, gentlemen, 25% of my audience is male. So that's, I don't know, like 8,000 men. 8,000 men who could potentially be listening to this. Please do not depend on the results of your wife, your girlfriend, your fiance, your whoever, right? Do not rely on their results as a determining factor of how healthy you are. 1, their results could be a lie. 2, their results could be a lie. 3, their results could be a lie. 4, did you see the paper yourself? 5, you could have been sleeping with somebody else while sleeping with her and contracted it from that chick. 6, you could have gotten it before and then maybe you got tested. It didn't show up. It took a couple months. It's showing up now. So many things can go wrong. Do not depend on someone else's results to determine your own. Please. Please and thanks. Okay? That's a gem. All right, so the gentlemen are confirming. They're not going to lie. They're not going to lie. They're not going to lie. All right. Next question, beautiful people. Now I'm in a better mood now. I'm in a better mood. If your partner is away for work for 4 consecutive months a year, can it work? If your partner is away for work for 4 consecutive months in a year, can it work? Any tips? All right. So, yes. Long distance relationships can work. Now, you may have heard me say before that relationships are not hard. I don't like this narrative that relationships are hard. But I will say that a long distance relationship is hard. And for the simple reason of, well, a couple of simple reasons. 1, you're concerned about their physical activities with potentially other people, right? In the city or the town that they're in away from you. 2, you literally do not have the level of intimacy that you would have had if they were present, right? 3, you kind of feel left out sometimes, right? It's your birthday. You don't have anybody to celebrate like your partner. It's Valentine's Day. You don't have your partner. It's Christmas. Everybody else is getting engaged in the pajama photos and you don't have that, right? Like feeling left out and not being able to participate in some of those couple weddings plus ones, right? So that makes it difficult and that's a strain. But can it work? Yes. Can it work? Yes. Can it work? Yes. Does it add a strain to your relationship? Does it make it more complicated? Yes. The trust has to be there. If you do not trust this person, then the distance is going to cause you to not trust them even more. If you already don't have trust established in this relationship, when they go away, it's over. Who you talking to? Who's that in the background? Why you ain't text me today? A whole lot of foolishness. So you do not want to be in a position where you're together, not trusting each other, and then you separate. That's going to be quite difficult. Secondly, you need to be able to communicate. The beautiful thing is it's 2021, and in most cases you can FaceTime or Zoom or WhatsApp video or whatever, right? In most cases, you're in a position to almost have a life-like conversation with someone who's overseas or wherever. You can even share meals together via video. If that's a possibility, you should be doing it as much as possible. Can a long-distance relationship work? Yes. Will you have to work so much harder to make it work? Yes. But it can. It surely can. Okay? Moving on. Should first impressions matter? Should first impressions matter? I mean, should they? I don't think so. Like, it really should be the quality of the human being that you're interacting with, right? Whether or not there's a connection, whether or not there's chemistry, whether or not there are likenesses between the two of you. You have the same goals and desires, which you develop over time, right? However, they do matter. Should they? No. Do they? Yes. Yes, they matter. And it could be a psychological thing, right? Like, it's just the first thing I remember. I'm attached to it, and that's what you remind me of that, right? So if I saw you and you were walking down the street looking super bummy, I'm going to think, oh, Brian the bum, right? Like, if I see you and the first time I meet you, you're like cursing out an old lady, okay, you're mad rude. Like, should they matter? No. It should be the entire body of the person, the context of the human being. Does it matter? Yes. That's what I'm going to associate my memories with. And so that's the impression I'm going to have about you. Now, whether or not I'm willing to give you a second chance to change my mind based on whatever negative interaction I had or how I saw you, okay, I mean, should first impressions matter? No. Do they matter? Yes. So you really should make an effort to present yourself in the best way possible every single day. Chrissy did my hair, says, see, that's what I mean. You might catch them on a bad day. People have bad and good days. What if they're having an off day? Yeah, as long as they're not being rude. All right, so Lavi says she can deal with like looking bummy. She can deal with other things, but if you're being rude and nasty that she doesn't care, that's her first impression and she's done with you. I hear that. Yeah, you catch people on bad days sometimes. You do. It sucks. Maybe it's not meant to be. Okay? What are ways to become approachable? This is a good one. What are ways to become approachable? This is coming from a woman, so I am going to answer this for women. Okay, so how do you become more approachable? One thing, women, and this is what I preach to my group, right? When you go out socially, go out by yourself or go out with a single wing woman. One woman. It is very difficult for gentlemen to approach a large group. It's difficult for them to do that, right? Now they're going to have to maneuver and break through and see whether or not. Then it's the hater in the corner who's saying, that was so Brooklyn of me. The hater in the corner. The hater in the corner who's like, it's ladies' night. No, we not into this. Right? Then it's the other one that says, oh, you want to talk to Alison? Well, you got to buy all of us drinks. And he might have the money to buy all of y'all drinks, but he don't know you. So why should he spend $150 on drinks to talk to you? He don't know you yet. It could be me amongst 8 women, right? And then twin me down the bar all by herself or with her one girlfriend. Guess what? He gonna choose the path of least resistance. And he's gonna choose the one who is easier to approach because she's not in a large group and he doesn't know what to expect when he's approaching that woman. Will the other women in the group laugh at him? Will they make jokes? Will they be dismissive? Will they be loud? Will they be obnoxious? Will they demand that he spends money on them and he don't even know them or the chick that he actually likes? Right? So my number one recommendation, when you're out socially, ladies, either go out by yourself, and if you don't feel safe, which I 100% understand, you go out with a good wing woman. Let's talk about what a good wing woman looks like. A good wing woman is not a hot, drunk mess. She's not twerking everywhere, making a scene. She's not obnoxious. She's not aggressive when drinking, right? Because then you don't want negative attention. You want positive. She's not angry. She's not crying over an ex or a husband or an ex-husband or whoever. Because, again, the loud, obnoxious, drunk, messy is bringing negative attention. You don't want that. Then you're going to have to care for her, right? And then now your attention is being thrown off of what you're there for, which is guy cruising that night. You don't want her crying or upset or a negative Nancy, because if she's crying or upset, you're going to have to console her when you're out socially. And the purpose of y'all being out socially was cruising, not to be rubbing your friend's back. Rub her back in the house. Pass her tissues in the house. But if your friend is going to be the type that's going to come crying and complaining about her ex-boyfriend and how all he does is cheat on her, then guess what? That's a terrible wing woman. My last point about the wing people, that we're going to talk about more ways to be approachable. My last point on the wing people. Damn, now I done lost my point about the wing people. It can't be loud, obnoxious, dancing, drunk, messy, crying, a hater. Did I say it? Being a hater? We cannot deal with the haters. If you're a hater, you can't be out. Ooh, this is controversial. Y'all ready? Hold on to your seat. Y'all holding on? Hold on to your seat. You holding on? Hold on to your seat. You holding on? This is not nice, but I'm going to say it. I'm going to choose a wing woman who's not more gorgeous than me. I'm not choosing Beyonce to be my wing woman. Now, I'm not saying she got to be ug mug, but it is just not practical for me to have a drop dead gorgeous model next to me when we're cruising for guys. I know it's not nice. I know it's not nice, but it's practical. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No patties. And the last thing I was going to say, now I remember, because I was in the back of my head. No, guys. I don't care if he's gay. I don't care if he's your cousin. I don't care if he's your dad. Oh my God, he's 60. Obviously, he's my dad. I don't care. Any man with common sense is going to say, she's unavailable, I'm not walking over there. Why? So he could get punched in the face for you? So somebody could pull out. I'm in New York, right? Pull out on you? No. Do not go out with any guys, period. If you're going out with a guy, I don't care how flamboyant he is. Oh my God, obviously he's gay. No, he is a man. And the presumption is going to be that this is your man. And so you shot yourself in the foot. Okay. I'm sorry about that. I know that was a little nasty, but I had to tell you the truth. Oh, other ways to be approachable. These are the simple, easy ones. Do not cross your arms. You're giving off the impression you don't want to be approached. You're giving off the impression you might punch somebody in their face if they approach you. You have to smile. Let me fix my hair a little bit. I can use this as my thumbnail. Smiling gives you the impression that I want to talk to you, right? But if I'm mean mugging, and I can definitely do that. I can definitely do that. Then I'm giving off the vibes I don't want to be approached. And any guy who approaches you when you have on that mug is the kind of guy who can't read cues, social cues. He might be a little socially inept. He might be a little awkward. He might be a little bit on the spectrum. So it is in your best interest to give off the impression you want to be approached. You're opening your chest. You are smiling. Your back is not to the door. Your back is not to the group, right? So if you're at a bar, your back is not to the group. You want to give the impression you are open and folks want to come up to you. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. All right, beautiful people. Oh gosh, we got 3 more questions. Okay. Guys interested, but wants to be friends first. Move slow. Is this strange? The guy's interested, but wants to be friends first. Moves slow. Is this strange? I wouldn't say it's strange. I wouldn't say it's strange. I'd like to know what friendship looks like. Oh, you can't smile behind the mask. Yeah, I know. Depending on where you are, smiling is not that easy. You gotta smile with, you gotta smize. You gotta smile with your eyes. I want to know exactly how he defines friendship. What does this friendship look like? Are we gonna be dating and you call me your friend? How long do you foresee this friendship before we move on to something else? How old are you? There's a lot of factors. There's a lot of context that's missing here. But I like to know what this is, because what I found in my practice, and in my practice as a human being on this earth, is that a lot of times people are using the word friend loosely, and a lot of times tends to be more gentlemen than ladies, right? They say that they want one thing, but then they behave another way, and then women get confused and don't know exactly what the status is of that relationship. So when he says he wants to be friends, does that mean that there's absolutely no sexual contact whatsoever? How long is that going to last? Because, and to go back to our earlier question about dating more than one person, if we friends, then you're not going to come up in here and say that I can't date nobody else, because then that means we ain't friends. My friends don't tell me I can't date other people. My friends don't tell me they have an expectation that I only see them exclusively, because we ain't seen each other, because we are friends. So I need clarity, and I hope you get clarity with this gentleman about what exactly this friendship looks like and how slow is slow. Because if you have a vision for your life, and this is not you pressuring men and telling them and giving them an ultimatum, you have a vision for your life. And if your vision for your life looks a certain way, and so time is of the essence for you, and then his vision for his life doesn't match, this is not an ultimatum. This is saying we're not an appropriate match. The vision I have for my life is that I am a homeowner by the age of 35. The vision you have for your life is that you never want to own a home. Am I pressuring you to purchase a home? No. I've just now made it clear that we're not an appropriate match because you don't share the same desires. Does that make sense? I want to know what friendship looks like from this guy, and I want to know how slow is slow. Because for me, I ain't got all day. But I'm wishing you all the best, sir. Okay? Let me read some comments. Full of Curl says, I had a 34-year-old man try to friend me for 6 months. I blocked him. If you're not looking for friends, then, you make that clear. I'm not looking for friends. I'm not looking for a pen pal. There's a lot of people that are on dating apps that if you allow them to waste your time, they will waste your time, or you will waste your own. And they're looking for pen pals, right? So we need to move this right along. You need to have a clear vision as to what you want out of a partner. You need to have a clear vision as to what you want out of your life. What is the vision you have for your own life? And then you are going to date and get to know people without a commitment until you've decided and they've decided that the two of you are the right ones for each other. Does that make sense? Okay. Moving on. 2 more questions. And then I have a call to make. Somebody came on here and said, "Sis, you didn't call me." I'm like, what do you mean? She's talking about Wellington Event Rentals, not Align with Alison. All right. Should a Christian be Oh, come on, y'all. This is going to be another one I'm just going to answer and just move on because, Should a Christian be dating an atheist? Any advice on how to make this pairing work? It will not work. Should a Christian be dating an atheist? No. Any advice on how to make this pairing work? It won't work. Moving right along. Should you hide your profession while dating if you have a growing brand that's financial based? Next. Should you hide your profession while dating if you have a growing brand that's financial based? This is a good question. And let me tell you. So I had a lot of clients that are nurses. I don't know what it is about nurses. Nurses seem to have a really hard time on the dating scene. A lot of my clients are nurses. Or if I had a pharmacist too. Anywho, so what I explained to them is that I have heard, this is not my personal experience because I come from a background of education and teachers are broke, right? But I've heard that a lot of people in the health profession, so usually nurses and doctors, they usually get very awkward questions when they start dating, when they put on dating profiles, or they say with their mouth when they meet somebody in person what they do, right? So it's like, and this is actually from a male doctor who said to me, I don't like telling people that I'm a doctor because then they like want to latch on. Ooh, a black doctor. Ooh, and he's handsome. Ooh, he got money, right? Little do they know that he's going to be in debt forever. It's going to take a minute for him to, but still the point is the prestige of being attached to a doctor. And so he doesn't like to tell women that he's a doctor up front because he feels as though they're going to attach themselves to him because of the prestige that comes along with being with a doctor. And then the potential financial benefit of being with a doctor. So he doesn't like to tell. And with that, based on my conversations with nurses, I would say you do not have to share your profession if you feel as though your profession is a telltale of how much money you make. If you feel like your profession is a telltale of how much money you make, I understand not wanting to share it because you feel as though this person is going to make judgments based on how much money you make. So I understand having that desire to hide it. Now, how does one hide it? Because again, to go back to the Google Voice question, I don't want to make anyone feel as though they're a creep. I don't want to make anyone feel as though they're a weirdo, that I don't trust them, even though I don't, but I want them to feel that way out the gate, right? So I don't think I would hide my profession per se. I think what I would just be very vague. I have a client right now who's dating a guy. She knows what he does for a living, but she doesn't know where he works. And he said that although he likes her, they enjoy each other's company, they've been on a few dates, they intend on seeing each other in the future, that he's just a little wary about talking about where he works because he had a negative experience of, I don't know if like an ex called the job or showed up to the job. He's very particular about sharing the location. She respected that because that's reasonable, right? So I understand not wanting to share. I'm not going to hide it, but I may be a little bit more, I work in financial services. Financial services could be a bank. Financial services could be anything, right? I'd be a little generic. I tell my nurses and my doctors, I tell them to say they work in the health profession. Health services. Nobody knows what the hell that means, right? I see some comments. Y'all arguing with each other in here? What y'all saying? I don't know. Relationships are temporary. Situationships are forever. Oh, no. I don't like the word toxic, but that's like close to that. I only date on Saturdays. 2 dates in 1 day. Getting dressed is a process. Okay. Hey, do your thing, boo-boo. And I'm not going to read that thing about the nurses. That's not nice. I don't know how true it is, and that's not nice neither. Okay? Last question, beautiful people. Oh, sad. That was the last question. All right. So, first of all, thank you for pushing through with me on my live stream struggle. I appreciate that. I want all of you guys to do me a favor. Y'all ready for this favor? Y'all ready? It's 59 of y'all on here. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to share my page with somebody that you know that's struggling in their romantic life. Somebody, Latoya, me and you gonna fight. Stop talking about dating is stressful. Dating is fun. Dating is fun if you're doing it with strategy. Click the link in my bio. Tap the second button, watch my free training. As long as you make it negative, that's how negative it's going to be. All right, back to the scheduled programming. Share this with somebody who can benefit. Somebody who's struggling in their romantic life. Somebody who says dating is stressful. Someone who says, I don't know what to do with my romance, with my husband, with my wife, with my partner, or whatever. Share. That's what I want you to do. Give them a token of positivity. Find a post that you like and share that one. Something that you know is going to uplift their day. We share a lot of foolishness, okay? We share gossip. We share before and after pictures of somebody, makeup, no makeup, surgery, no surgery. This one on drugs, that one baby father, like taking pictures of people, babies that don't look good yet and sharing it. Like, I want you to share something that is beneficial from my page specifically, all right? And I want you to start thinking more about putting positive vibes in your life. I want you to think about perhaps unfollowing some pages that does not speak to positivity. If you're following anybody who says that women ain't this and men ain't that and black women and black men and you the problem and you're the problem, unfollow them. They're not benefiting you in your romantic life. If you follow people who I don't even like using this word. It's the D word. Me and my husband don't use it. It's a big curse word in our house, right? Somebody can write in the comments for me if you know what word I'm talking about. If somebody's on Instagram and constantly talking the D word and you could just walk out anytime and you don't have to blah, 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 you need to unfollow that if you're in a romantic relationship and you're struggling at all. If you are having any kind of issues in regards to your outward appearance, thank you for putting it in the comments. You're not feeling good about your body. You're not feeling good about your skin. You're not feeling good about your hair. Following these people who are seemingly perfect and beautiful, they have on filters. They got weaves in. These is fake lashes and they're lit. I get them done by Milan Lash in Brooklyn. Right? I've had braces 3 times. And I bleach my teeth all the time. Right? Kind of the rest of me is looking a little busted. But my point is, Shirley said she thought that the curse word was dead ass. I am that Brooklyn, but no, that's not the curse word today. The point is, it's a facade many times. It's not a true representation. So please get all of this stuff out of your conscious, out of your being, out of your surroundings. Follow the people who are in line with your belief system. Follow the people who are pushing you to be better, pushing you in a hard way like me because I'm the tough love one, pushing you in a sweet, soft way. You've got another coach, another dating relationship coach who's a little bit more like loving and affectionate. I'm more logical and reasonable. I'm going to tell you about yourself, whatever your preference is. If it's not me, right? If you don't like me, a lot of people don't. And it's okay. Unfollow me. Mute your sister. Mute your auntie who's always asking you, whatever happened to Jerome? That was from 7 Thanksgivings ago, auntie. When you gonna have a baby? Don't let me get started about the holidays and how we need to start putting our elders in check, respectfully. Do it. It's okay. And if you're a little afraid to unfollow because it might be a little bit harsh, mute them. Block them. Unfollow them. Do what you have to do to maintain your sanity, because we're growing up in an era that's different from any other generation before us. The pressure is real. It is overwhelming. It'll make you feel like you're behind. It'll make you feel like you're not doing anything with yourself, that what's wrong with you. Now, there may be some stuff that's wrong with you now. I ain't saying that you're perfect, but you don't need to be overwhelmed. You need to know that there's something that you want to fix, and you need to put something in place in order to correct the behavior. Right? But what we're not going to do is feel like sugar, honey, iced tea, because we're choosing to inundate ourselves with images that make us feel like sugar, honey, iced tea. On that note, I'm going to sleep. I love y'all. Bye.